for the football. This for the football. For the city and the back roads, got a whole county full of them ghosts. All from the football and that gold. Hey, it's just for Beulah County. Yeah, right on your head like a bounty. Said I'm from Beulah, they know I'm from Beulah, so let me just go talk about my surroundings. Shout out them Eagles that's out in Geneva, them Lakers, oh yeah, that's Primetime Valley. We from the football chasing these goals. If you in the way, you get taken out proudly. And Jefferson soaring with Falcons. Said that you working, you ain't really working. You see that we working, our hands got a callus. Putting in reps till we moving some mountains. Edgewood got warriors, they won't allow it. Me, I bleed green and gold, they know defeating those dragons who run the whole city. You wildin', and they really bout it, yeah. And next we gon' go to Grand Valley. Work like a horse and don't show no remorse. So opponents keep coming, we stack them and pile them, yeah. And Connie, I flooded with Spartans. As soon as they pull up on game day, we park them. Cause we number one in that spot, ain't a bargain. Man, shout out St. John, they be ballin' like Harden. This for the football. This for the football. This for the football.
All right, everybody, welcome. It's Wednesday night, so you know what that means. All right, good. We got sound. You know what that means. It is the 440 Sports Show Primetime edition. At least I can say that right now until Coach Prime trademarks that, which I saw he's got some trademarks out there, so hopefully he doesn't sue me. Lord knows Colorado's making enough money. But for right now, we are the 440 Sports Show Prime time, baby. And tonight is going to be a fun night. Like every week, we are going to go through our county leaders. We're going to go through our county leaders in both football and volleyball. We're going to go through some of our matchups. We'll talk about some stuff that happened last week, the results of those games and that sort of thing. I can tell you that this week on the football side of things, huge matchups on the horizon, including one with the team that we're going to be bringing on next. The Edgewood Warriors getting ready to take on the Geneva Eagles, 4-1. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That one going to be on YSN this week as we will be traveling. So you're going to get to see that one live and in color if you can't get to the Spire. But without further ado, folks, I want to bring on, this is a first for our show. Now, I had to chuckle a little bit before I named this week's Player of the Week, because this was something that me and my partner, my old co-host Ryan Cole, went back on all the time. Every week we talked about offensive linemen and, putting up all these humongous stats on offense and how the offensive linemen don't get any of the credit. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that stops right now, as this week's Week 5 Player of the Week, the Edgewood Warriors offensive line, joining us on the show. And there they are, ladies and gentlemen. It's a big group of them. I'll tell you what, that's kind of becoming a thing over there at Edgewood. Like, you can't find one Warrior without about 20 guys right around him.
That's right.
So what we're going to do, this one obviously going to be a little bit of a different interview because we've got so many guys, and they're made up of 2 seniors, 2 sophomores, and a freshman. Is that correct? Did I get that right?
2 sophomores. Junior.
2 sophomores.
1 junior. Yeah, 2 sophomores.
Or 2 sophomores and a junior.
1 junior and 2 seniors.
And a partridge in a pear tree. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's start the introductions. I'm going to start with the seniors. Guys, tell us your name, your number, and your position.
Nick Wyman, number 50, right tackle.
Nick Barger, number 75, right guard.
Manny Cooper, number 72, center. Brock Foltz, number 52, left guard.
Mason Thor, left tackle, number 64.
Awesome. So this is the starting line for the Edgewood Warriors coming in here. And now, if I am not mistaken, I said I was going to start with the seniors, but you know what? I'm calling it an audible. You guys are used to that, I'm pretty sure by now. But if I'm not mistaken, Manny, you are the center. Are you not the youngest guy on the offensive line?
No, that's the sophomores.
That's the sophomore, so you're a junior? All right, well, coming into this year as a junior, that center position is so important. What were some of the things that you wanted to make sure you got together to get ready for this season, where you guys have kicked butt as an offensive line?
So a big thing was really the play calls. So I had to be very familiar with the play calls and what they do on each call. And another big thing was footwork, being able to make the right steps before, I make the wrong step.
Yeah, you know what? And I never get to do this because I never have centers on here. And if you've ever listened to my play calls, you know that I complain about centers a whole lot. So I want to know how much time and effort do you put into those long snaps? Because I will tell you, your guys' snaps have looked really good this year. Not too many where Tony Hall had to, have a 48-inch vertical to get it.
So the thing for we run a 8-yard punt instead of a 12-yard, so it's not as long. But it's really focused. It's kind of like a natural thing. You just have to bring your butt a little higher and do it with reps, and you'll be good.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. We got Coach Welton right there over there. He's the peacekeeper amongst they call you guys the Hogs, the Titans of the trenches, wherever you want to go. But I'm going to go over to the seniors wearing what do you guys got on your neck there? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Oh, the pancake chains?
Yeah, let's go into that. What are those about, and how do you get one of those?
So basically, when you get a pancake block, when you block someone and you block them into the ground, you bury them, you get one of these.
So you two have gotten your now. Is that a traveling chain, or is that something that you get? If you get it, it's yours.
Oh, it's a traveling chain. It goes all around the line.
So you guys obviously coming into this senior year, I don't think it was any secret that that the offense was going to be electric. You guys come back, a ton of seniors. You guys were ready to go, high firepower. I'm pretty sure you guys scored, 5,000 points in the first 4 weeks of the season. Tony Hall and Zeke and all those pretty boys, they get all the love. What were some of the things you guys did to get ready for this senior season? Because you guys have been a standout. You two in particular all year.
We got a weight room heavy this year, and we locked in. We bought into the work. We put in all the work in the off season, and it's really paying off now.
Yeah, now so you guys put a lot of work in the weight room, but one of my favorite questions to ask you guys as seniors is that change from your junior to your senior year is a big change, not only in your body, not only in your abilities, but also in your leadership and the way that some of the guys are going to be looking up to you. And with a line with 2 sophomores, I think you're going to have to take that leadership pretty seriously. What are some of the things you did to make sure you guys were better leaders? I'm going to go with Nick B on this one.
So we kind of tried to bring them up and made them buy in. We tried to bring them up, try to rally around them, try to help them do the right things, try to coach them up if they do something wrong, and also reward them if they did something right, and just try to get their competitive up. Try to make them competitive so we all keep competing.
Yeah, and that's a big thing too there as well, because not only you guys have your starting line, but there's a lot of you guys out there, so there's always a competition for who's going to get the snaps out there, and it seems like you guys do a pretty good job of keeping each other sharp. How does that go? How many of you guys play on both sides of the ball?
Right now, it's just me and Thor that are always on both sides of the ball, and then we have all the rest of the D tackles rotate in on defense, and then they play on offense too.
So how much do you think that plays a part for you guys in particular? Because, Nick Wyman and Nick B, both of you guys obviously seniors, so you guys have played on years where the offensive line might have had 8 guys total, might have had 4 guys total. In those third and fourth quarters, how much is that making a difference for you guys where you can stay fresh?
It really helps being able to come out, get a break, and know that when you come out, you have somebody in there that's going to do just as good of a job as you are. So it's really a weight off of your back knowing that you can get a break every once in a while.
Now I'm going to talk to the sophomores, you got 2 sophomores, right?
Correct.
So who the 2 sophomores, you guys are coming in, you guys are the youngsters on this pretty experienced line. Some people worry about being baptized by fire. How does that work out for you guys? How are you guys feeling coming in as sophomores playing on this high-octane offense in what's arguably the best year Edgewood has had in quite a long time?
It's just it's not really an age thing to us, honestly. It's just we fit right in. We've worked our butts off all off season, all last season, both of us starting as freshmen.
So we've been in this is our second year now. We're ready to go.
So what was the tone for you guys? Obviously, you said you guys played as freshmen last year, right? What was the tone? What were the things that you knew were going to be expected of you guys when you came in? Because, I mean, it's a big deal. Getting that letter when you in your first year is a big deal. And you guys went out there and made sure you got the job done. What were some of the things you wanted to make sure that you did so you fit right into that culture?
Basically just like being just relied on to do your job all the time, and being able to count on to do your job.
That's all right. Just making sure you're accountable. That's a big part of culture, guys, and I think you see it. And I think the mix you guys have on this offensive line is a huge portion of why you guys are so successful. I've known about you guys. I've been hearing about it for the last couple of years. Now, I'll tell you what. I played football, but I wasn't no lineman. But I do know that you linemen have some weird, wacky drills that you do over there on the muddy part of the field. So what are some of the drills that you guys do, and what's your favorite drills out there when the Hogs get going?
We start every practice with a driving drill. So we got two guys lined up, head on each other, just drive. Hit each other, get some contact, and just drive. See who wins. Best man wins. Then loser has up down. So you don't ever want to.
So I imagine with those up downs, that becomes pretty competitive pretty quickly.
Helmets go flying, it gets crazy over there.
I'll tell you, I got to avoid the lineman part of the field. You guys are a wild bunch over there. I never know what's going on. I just know it's a lot of action all the time. Now we talk about the linemen, and obviously the old trough is how much you guys eat and all that good stuff. But nutrition obviously very, very important. I think you guys had a pretty unique meal tonight, and that's how we got you all together. What were you guys chomping on?
So tonight, the starting five, we all had steaks, and then the other line had burgers, fries, really anything you could think of. We just had a good time. And then,
that's awesome.
We had to throw some sweets in there.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. So stakes for the offensive line, because you guys definitely had a great performance last week. It was super fun to get to watch. I'll tell you what, even though Ryan, my old co-host, used to try and break down lineman stuff for me, I still don't know what's going on. I just know it's the big guys running into each other. But it's fun to watch you guys out there, that's for sure. So I won't keep you guys too much longer, but before we do go, I want to ask you guys, when the Edgewood Warriors, there's been a culture shift and kind of a different overall look for the team. You guys are a primary, I think everybody looks for you guys to pass, obviously. You got Tony Hall, who's thrown for about 1 million yards halfway through the season. What was going on with the game last week? What was going on with the game last week where you guys knew you guys were going to have to run block with the best of them?
Everybody.
Were you guys able to hear me?
No, you got to repeat that. I'm sorry.
All right, let me go. I see you guys were getting real comfortable out there. So obviously you guys are, the passing game that Edgewood shoots, has is pretty well known. But last week you guys go out there, you block good enough for 307 yards rushing. And I'm pretty sure about 9 different guys touched the ball. What was the change in that game? What was something that you guys saw that clicked? You guys are like, we got to get run heavy this week.
So we've really tried to focus on being more of a 50-50 team, really get run heavy. Because as Coop says it, passing's kind of a finesse game. So we want to really put our feet in the dirt and run the ball. So we just really try to just drill it in. We got to become a run team. We got to become a run team. So we just started working it. We just tried to work it the best of our ability, and so far it's been paying off pretty good.
Absolutely, absolutely. You guys have become a double-edged sword, and I'll tell you what, those guts are full of burgers and steaks tonight, and you guys earned it. I want to thank you guys for coming on the show. I'm looking forward to a huge, huge game this week, folks. This may be the biggest game in the county, as we've got 4-1 taking on 4-1. Only one person's going home 5-1, and we'll see who it is. Whoever wins this game is pretty good to win this Lake Division first year ever. So best of luck to you guys. Thanks so much for joining the show, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank
See
you.
you next week.
Thank you.
See you next week.
See you next week.
See you. All right, awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, the first time ever we get an entire offensive line on the show. And you know, I do want to send kudos out because, you know, I think with Edgewood, it's been up and down for the last couple of years. And you look at guys like Nick Barger and you look at guys like Nick Wyman, and they're seniors on this team. And you know, they've played on some of those lines that maybe got poked at, that people kind of you know, jumped on, and you know, they've come out this year and they have been phenomenal every single week. You know, even the Hawken game, you look at that one, you know, they were able to do some things in the late portion of the game where it becomes very competitive very, very quickly. So it's something that they took very, very seriously, and the amount of participation I think that they have. Good job and good luck this week from Kristen Overly. I think the numbers that they have are helpful there as well. We've seen other schools try and go this route. You know, I think back to it was either it might have been 2 years ago. You know, when Lakeside tried to go, their offensive linemen only played offense, and then they had a defensive line. And a lot of people kind of scoffed at that and talked about it, but it's all about participation. If you could keep the guys, the Titans of the trenches, the Hogs, if you can keep them fresh, if your offensive line is fresh, your team is fresh. You're always going to be in ball games, and that's what they're doing. And you got big guys like, you know, you got both Nicks out there, Wyman and Barger, leading the pack. You got Fultz, you got Thor, you got Manny Cooper. I mean, these guys are a unit. They're thick as thieves. Everywhere you go in Edgewood, they're together, and you see that camaraderie there. And I think the trust plays a huge part amongst each other, and I think it plays a huge part in why the numbers, when we get to the leaders, are going to be what they are. Because you've got guys like Tony Hall. You've got guys like Zach Hull. You've got guys like Jacob Ernst. You've got guys like Seth Enos that can make plays because these guys are wearing people out, not just on the first level, on the second level too. Like, these guys are getting out to linebackers. They're getting out and pushing and opening holes. Coach R.J. Baldwin says, go Warriors. Young men should be very proud. They perfected their craft through hard work and determination. I could not be any more. I could not agree with you anymore. I mean, it's very, very cool to see. Michelle Petro says Warrior family, and Duda Walter says proud of her babies. Those are some big babies, and God bless that. I think it's Coach Barger that's holding that was hosting that meal night. And God bless you, man, with all those steaks and burgers, man. Giant Eagle probably had a run on meat. Those boys can put it away, and that's how they get as big and strong as they really are. And it's going to be interesting because, again, I think, you know, and that's why I talked to them about the passing game. You know what I mean? They're still a very, very good passing team. They can throw the pill in the air. The pigs are meant to fly when they get on the east side of Ashtabula. But I think what they realized was without a running game, that passing game can be focused on. So they've made that running game much more respectable. You got guys like Zeke, you got guys like Seth, you got guys like Anthony Hunt who come in from, you know, the wide receiving spot, and he's going to run the ball as well. So some great things going on over there in Edgewood, and congratulations to those guys. It was very fun. I was looking forward to having something different this week, as we are, believe it or not, folks, we're halfway through the regular season. We are through week 5. It's conference time. It's conference time. And the Edgewood Warriors this year have the biggest game in the county. The biggest game in the county against the Geneva Eagles. Both of them are 4-1. Both of these teams' losses are to very, very good teams. Very good teams. Edgewood taking a loss to Hawken. Geneva taking a loss to Perry. Perry, the number 1 team in Division 5 in the state of Ohio. So on Friday, there's going to be a high-quality football game played there. And I can't help but just look at what the different looks are going to be in that one. You've got the Geneva Eagles, who, again, I know they're not YSN. I know that we don't cover them, but nothing has changed with them in 20 years. They're coming out there with a monster backfield. Those Geneva Eagles are going to come out there, set the tone, and try and control the clock. I've said a couple times this year, they may have, and I know that this is homerism, and this is me maybe being, speaking emotionally, but, I look at what those guys have done. That is one of the best backfields in the state of Ohio that they've got out there in Geneva. Smith, Pete, Deemer, and Young. They got 4. They run a wing T, and they got 4 guys that can run that wing T. It's going to be a tough game. Now, Edgewood, on the other hand, they've got touchdown Tony Hall. Tony Hall can throw that thing. And by the way, last week, he reminds you, he can also run. He runs for 101 yards, rushed for 101 yards and a touchdown in that game. Again, he's got the horses in front of him. He's got those hogs blowing up the holes. So this is going to be a war of strength, a war of control. And then you've got Edgewood, who throws the ball more effectively than Geneva. So where is this going to go? Is it going to be the rushing team wins, or is the pass heavy team going to come out on top? I can tell you in the past, it's always been the running team who's able to run the clock. But this year I'm telling you, it's going to be a great game. You don't want to miss 1 second of that game, and you don't have to. If you can't make it to the Spire, it's going to be right here on YSN Live, ysnlive.com/Edgewood. As the teams from Ashtabula play Geneva, we will be there. So we're going to get a lot of great football starting this week, and I could not be any more excited. This is one of the matchups, the Geneva matchup, as well as Lakeside in Geneva, which is the one that me and Ryan instituted a trophy for. That's going to be on YSN this year as well. It's going to be a great year for football. It's going to be a great week for football. I have been going on and on. I need you guys to give me 30 seconds so I can get a quick commercial break in here. When we come back, though, we're going right into football leaders, and we'll see who this week's passing leader is, who their rushing leader is. There's some changes up there, and there are some that are going to stay the same. My name is Sam Torres. This is the 440 Sports Show, folks. We'll be right back.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
It means the world to me to know that what we're doing is impacting people. And whether it's simply, I got to watch my son or daughter when I was out of town, or we just love watching YSN. We love what you do for our son or daughter. So whenever someone says thank you, or someone is appreciative of what we're doing, it tells me everyone at YSN is doing what we initially set out to do, which is shine a light on these athletes and help them kind of promote themselves. My name is Anthony Hartwig, and my sports network is your sports network.
That's right, folks, and his sports network is your sports network as well. That right up here in Ashtabula, we got you covered, baby. YSN from the Mahoning River all the way to the lake, we've got you covered. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the part of the show that I believe is becoming one of the most popular, at least it is in the comment section, because every week I get people correcting me. I get people laughing, yelling, all that good stuff. It's time. All right, everybody, let's start it off how we always do, and that is with the Week 5 passing leaders. This one, again, like I said, not too many changes, but there are some. I don't think this is any surprise. It's going to be Tony Hall out there, 76 for 122 1,201 yards, 18 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. This kid's thrown for 1,200 yards halfway through the season already. And mind you, he also rushed for 101 yards last week because they went rush heavy. So he's having a phenomenal season. You know who else is having a phenomenal season? Vin Narducci. Vinny Vici, baby. It's 60 for 114. 1,071 yards. Welcome to the 1,000-yard club, Vin. 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Look at the ratio. Look at the numbers, kid. He's out here doing a great job for the Heralds, who are now 2-3, heading into their homecoming game. We're going to be there, me and Ray Torado, obviously, as they take on the Mustangs tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, right there from the beautiful Spire. Here we go with Alex DeSalvatore, 34 for 80, 437 yards for him, 3 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. It's a much more run-heavy look over there at Lakeside, but Big Al, as I like to call him, the hefty lefty, the big 6'2", 6'3", I think he's about 6'4", honestly. The big kid who can throw the rock and can also run it, number 3 in the county right now. Sammy, go forth and conquer. 23 for 53. He's got 401 yards. Digging himself a little bit out of a hole that was started at the beginning of the season. But how about those Grand Valley Mustangs and the win that they got in their home opener? Overtime win. Soltis runs it in. They win their home opener in overtime. It doesn't get much better than that. Tyler Hartz and the Grand Valley students on the call for that one, and they just did a phenomenal job. Make sure you go back. The replays are out there. It was an awesome thing to see. Grand Valley obviously having a tough beginning of the season, and they are getting right and tight as they prepare for CVC Valley play. They got a tough one this week, and we'll show you here in just a minute. Max Gleason, 22 for 42, 304 yards for him, 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions. Ryan Croston's 18 for 44 with 258, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. And Cage Bozar, 24 for 41 with 1 touchdown and no interceptions. Over to the rushing leaders, and here is where it becomes Conneaut all over again. Shout out to those Edgewood Warriors doing a great job last week. The Conneaut offensive line has also showed up week in, week out. And it is evidenced by this rushing leaderboard right here. Max Gleason again at the top here. Mind you, folks, that's a quarterback. 93 carries, 765 yards, 5 touchdowns. Behind him, Wyatt, the pain for defenses. 99 carries for 699 yards, 7 touchdowns. You got Cage Bozar. The Jefferson Falcons have had a tough start coming off of their regional championship year. He is doing his best to keep this team on track and get them going. 56 carries, 567 yards, 5 touchdowns. Ty Vickery, part of the dynamic duo out there at Pymatuning Valley. He's leading this week, 82 carries with 409 yards and 5 touchdowns, just 2 yards separating him and Ryan Croston, the Laker quarterback, who has 78 carries for 407 and 5 touchdowns. Luke Funtash also doing a great job over there for Jefferson with 70 carries, 348 yards, 2 touchdowns for him. And Lakeside's Devin Miller, part of a running back field that is shared with Nate Bartone, 47 carries, 310 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I do know that he didn't play last week due to injury, or the week before due to injury. So trying to play catch up there. And over to the receiving yards. Here we go again. It's Will Anderson, who is the number 1 receiver yards-wise in Division 7. He is the number 15 receiver in Ohio. He is the number 39 wide receiver in the country when it comes to yards. Will Anderson, 33 receptions, 744 yards, 9 touchdowns for the Herald. Jacob Ernst is coming in second there, 17 receptions, 320 yards, 5 touchdowns for him. Anthony Hunt, 18 touchdowns, 313 yards, 3 touchdowns for him. Zach Carlton Hull, 14 touchdowns, 243 yards, 5 touchdowns for him. And Robert Rogers is 12 receptions, 224 yards, and 2 touchdowns for him. Tell you what, folks, I'm going to have to go back into the record books here for this one because I think Will Anderson over at St. John is on pace for a record year, not only for the county, but at his school. And the last wide receiver that I can remember who was as effective as this young man, who was as big a pain in the neck for the defensive backs as this Will Anderson, is another St. John guy. It's Donnie Lagoni from back in the day who had hands that could catch absolutely everything. So I'm going to have to go back and look and see where these numbers are looking because if I'm not mistaken, I think Lagoni may have a couple state records as well. Will Anderson holding up to that herald name. Tackle leader this week, and I want to be honest with you guys, this one is one of the most impressive jumps I've seen. Nate Bartone. Nate Bartone, who is really the primary back for the Lakeside Dragons. He is their crusher. He is their battering ram. This is the kid who it doesn't matter if they're going against Ursuline or going against, a JV team. It don't matter who they're going against. You're going to get a huge dosage of Nate Bartone. He's taking on the monsters. He's taking on the miniatures. And what he's doing when he's not running over people is making tackles. This kid with 50 tackles, this week's tackle leader, Nate Bartone from Lakeside High School. Right behind him, one tackle making the difference there is Zeke Lucas. I see you, Will Anderson. I'll tell you what, I see him too, but you know who has not seen him are these defensive backs because that kid seems to get open. It's open for the races, and he is gone with the wind. Second place is going to be Zeke Lucas and then another Edgewood Warrior and Seth Enos. You got Ty Koval with 46 over at Conneaut. Ty Koval, I said it last week. I'll remind you guys this week. Ty Koval goes into his senior season as the all-time leader in Conneaut tackles. So at this point, everything he does is just padding the stats and taking him away from the crowd. Koval is a monster. Ryan Williams with 40.5 tackles for St. John. And we talked about Nate Bartone and how Lakeside uses him as the battering ram. That's the exact usage they use for Ryan Williams over at St. John. This is their short yardage guy. This is the guy who is their lead blocker, coming in with 40.5 tackles. Oh, here's Will Anderson. Not only is he catching the ball, he's making tackles as well. 37 tackles for Anderson. Randy El Toro Valeriano, I believe that's the nickname they give him. And that's a great nickname because that was my nickname back in the day too. 35 tackles for that Dragon. Bryce Sperlin with 32.5 for the Spartans. Conneaut's always got like two guys that are right there, and they're always fighting till the end for who's going to get the tackles and the records. And I think Sperlin and Koval are going back and forth. TFL leaders this week, it's going to be Seth Enos, Zeke Lucas, and Mason Thor. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 3 Edgewood Warriors tied for first place with 8. Ty Koval in second place with 7. Abby Ortiz over at Lakeside, he's got 6. And Mikey Bisbee over at Edgewood, he has 5 of his own. This week's sack leader, St. John's Hank Wagner, the lone senior on the Herald's team. He's got 5 sacks for him. You got Seth Enos behind him with 2.5 sacks, and we have 7 county players tied with 2 sacks this week for week 5. Interception leaders this week, and I did double check these numbers, so they are correct, ladies and gentlemen. Hunter Brott leading the pack from Edgewood. 4 interceptions for Brott. Alex Simon in second. He is tied with Anthony Severino from St. John, Jacob Ernst from Edgewood, Anthony Hunt from Edgewood, and Max Gleason over there at Conneaut. When he ain't throwing the ball, he's taking it away, getting 2 interceptions for him. And then also, this is another one. 17 players in the county right now have an interception. I don't know where that stands all time, but it's an interesting number to me. That seems like an awful lot. And those are your leaders for this week. Incredible. It's been an incredible stat year so far for football here in Ashtabula. We're halfway through the season. We've got some teams that are going to have to really pump it up to 11, and we're going to have some teams that are we're going to see how much gas is left in the tank. They've had great starts of the year. This is where it's going to change. Huge matchups coming up against each other. I talked about Geneva and Edgewood. Why not talk about Lakeside and Madison? Lakeside 2 and 3 going to be traveling to Madison on Friday. Madison, for the first time since 2012, 4-1. That program has turned itself completely around. Another tall task for Lakeside. I think Lakeside got caught last week. I honestly, one of the hardest things for Lakeside last week, I think that they were big favors in that game. They were favorites to win that one. So, I'm sure Coach Buzz and the squad are getting the guys ready, because sometimes you got to take one to get back on your horse, and that's what they're going to do, dust themselves off. But it's going to be a tough one as they head to Madison. And if you've ever been to Madison, if you've never been to Madison, when I tell you that crowd shows up, that crowd shows up. It is a blue sea of people, and they get loud and they're ready to go. So that's a big one coming up from this week. But we've talked about football for quite a bit, so let's talk some volleyball. We do have some updated stat leaders for that one. Let's give the volleyball players their time, and we'll be... All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your stat leaders on the volleyball side. The Lakeside Dragons coming into this week, from 9-13 to 9-20, they are 4-10 due to a tough week where they went 0-5. Andy Mokovsky is their kill leader with 89. Tess Collins, their ace leader with 26. Making her debut on the stat show, Jasmine Colazzo with 21 blocks. Tess Collins, the dig leader with 214, and Andy Mokovsky with 161 assists. The Edgewood Warriors, who are 10-4 right now, they go 3-0, defeating Lakeside, Grand Valley, and Geneva. Their kill leader remains Faith Venzel with 109. Their ace leader remains McKenna Venzel with 26. Faith Venzel also their block leader with 54. McKenna Venzel, their dig leader with 333. And Gianna Ayanetta, their assist leader with 407. The 11-1 St. John Heralds, who finished 3-0 last week, defeating Warren Harding, Chalker, and Maplewood. Ladies and gentlemen, they still have not lost a single set since August 23rd. August 23rd, the last time the Heralds even lost a set. It's one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. These girls are not only winning, they are dominating in their wins. Lizzie Ducro this week, I believe, gets her 1,000th assist. It was either 1,000 digs or 1,000 assists. Either way, congratulations to you, young lady. Hard work as you've, she comes into her junior year. Getting big numbers already. So congratulations to her and this St. John Herald's team who, they caused some noise last year as well as their first year in the NAC. They go out and win the conference. Looking to do that again this year. Their kill leader is going to be Gabby Johnston with 140. Their ace leader is Gabby Johnston again with 44. Izzy Holler is their block leader with 18. Alexa Jordan, their dig leader with 193. And Lizzie Ducro, their assist leader with 296. Ladies and gentlemen, the St. John Herald's volleyball team. The Jefferson Falcons, that is the wrong slide, so we'll have to get them next week. The Spartans finished 1-3 last week, taking losses to Geneva, Berkshire, Garfield, and Madison, but they did defeat Cardinal Mooney. Their kill leader this week is Maddie Zappatelli with 77. Kayla Farley's their ace leader with 21. Bella Fix, their block leader, with 20. Kayla Farley with 148 digs is their leader, and Lexi Brown, their assist leader, with 128. The Grand Valley Mustangs, who are 5-6, they go 1-1 last week, defeating Beechwood, taking loss to. Actually, they went 1-2, taking a loss to South Range and Edgewood. Michaela Hopes goes 67 kills. She is their leader. She's also their ace leader with 31. Dixie Miller, their block leader, with 4. Hopes, their dig leader, with 106. And Caitlin Bauman, their assist leader, with 171. And finally, the PV Lakers, who are 4-11. They go 0-3 last week, taking losses to Bristol, Wyndham, and Chalker. No stats available for them this week. Those are your stat leaders for the volleyball in Ashtabula County. There are some really, really great teams, and including Jefferson, Edgewood, and St. John are really on a warpath this year. Those young ladies have really played well all year long. It's going to be interesting to see how this kind of carries over into the tournament, as I believe St. John's only loss on the year is to Edgewood. They're obviously not going to meet them in the tournament, but that's how you get better. You start playing these teams that are really, really good. So volleyball, very, very exciting. Lots of stuff going on. We've got Larry Jennings, who covered a volleyball game this week, did a great job over there for the Edgewood Warriors. If you are interested in covering volleyball around the area, I would love to add you to the team. Reach out. You can hit me on 440 Sports Show on Facebook, Instagram. You can email me at 440 I'd love to get you part of the team. We've got some people that are getting ready to start with the team, maybe for the Pymatuning Valley area, and I'm really excited about that as well. All right, folks, let's talk about some of the games from last week. Let's bring it up on the stage. Sorry about that. Window. There we go. All right, and these are your results from Friday. You've got Archbishop Hoban going 35-0 over St. Ignatius. That one not close at all, not like the Fitch game. Niles goes 31-0 over Lakeview. You got Latonia falling 14-0 to Wellsville. Salem losing to Padua Franciscan 21-39. Brookfield getting a close win over Liberty, 41-39. West Geauga, and I'm going to go ahead. I don't care if people agree with me or not. I'm going to call it the upset. That's an upset win for West Geauga as they go 35-12 over Lakeside for their first win of the year. Campbell Memorial loses 20-44 to the Rebels of Crestview. You got East Liverpool and Harrison Central. Harrison Central coming out on top on that one, 37-19. McDonald and Jackson Milton, 28-21. The Blue Jays going on top for that one. Southern Local and United. This one is all the U, 35-14. Poland and Hubbard. Poland goes 53-0 over Hubbard, setting up for a monster game coming up this week. And that'll be available on YSN Live as well. Poland and South Range is going to be must-watch TV. That is going to be must-see TV, and you can only see it right here on ysnlive.com. West Branch 49-0 over Howland. Columbiana goes 28-21 over Lisbon. South Range 37-33, a tight one over the Struthers Wildcats. Austintown Fitch goes 41-0 over Stowe. Akron North loses 42-14 to Edison. Starting up here. I don't know what this guy's trying to say. Garrettsville Garfield, the G-men have been monsters this year, and they have been on a warpath. 64-0 as they win over Champion. One of the best rushing attacks in the state. You know, I talked about Geneva and how they have an incredibly good backfield. So does Garrettsville. Garrettsville Garfield's backfield is the real deal Holyfield. LeBray goes 41-7 over Newton Falls. You got Cheney falling to Canfield 35-14. Waterloo going to fall to Mineral Ridge 47-12. Lutheran West 42-13. This was a tough one for Jefferson. You know, Jefferson was really in this game early as it was 7-6 after a 50-yard touchdown run by Cage Bozar. They answered right back. But, you know, unfortunately, they had some defensive issues, and Lutheran West, able to break some tackles and really open this door up. So Jefferson going to start 0-5 this year heading into conference play. Valley Christian gets into a close one with East Palestine, 28-13. Grand Valley and Wycliffe. I'm going to call this one the game of the night, folks. Grand Valley and Wycliffe. Grand Valley wins in overtime. Soltis runs the touchdown in. Tyler Hart's on the call on that one. You're going to want to go back and check that one out. It was an incredible game. Youngstown East and Akron East. It's Akron East 20-8. St. Mary Central Catholic 40, Sebring 6. Riverside goes 52-21 over Boardman. Warren G. Harding is going to fall to Ursuline 56-20. Ursuline is a man child this year. They are good. Wyndham 29-6 over St. Thomas. Matthews loses to Springfield 71-0. The Tigers have been awoke, and look out, all the people who have Springfield on their schedule from here on out. Girard goes 42-6 over Pymatuning Valley, and Western Reserve 21-14 over Lowellville. Beaver Local is going to beat Union Local 53-26, and those are your games from. I thought we had a Thursday set of games as well, though. And we did. I knew we did. I'm like, what is going on? Where's my ding? Where's my scores? Edgewood Warriors obviously going to win 40-0 over the Chagrin Falls Tigers. Hawken and Conneaut. That one was an interesting to watch game to watch too over on WoW. 21-40. Hawken and Conneaut get into a bit of a battle there. And then Orange and Madison, it's all Madison in that one, 42-0. St. John going to go 32-28, getting the win over the Chalker Wildcats. So those were your scores from last week. It was a great week of football, and I'm really, really looking forward to what we've got going on here. Let's talk about the games that are happening this week. Right here. Oh, wrong one. Sorry about that. There we go. Let's talk about the games that are going to be happening right here on YSN this week. All of these games you're going to see. Lakeside taking on Madison at Madison. Lakeside 2-3 versus a very good 4-1 Madison. This is one of those games that, I think Lakeside got caught off guard last week. They can really kind of right the ship and kind of continue their season on the path they want to by getting this win over Madison, but it is not going to be easy. Carson Alley, the quarterback over at Madison, he is a dynamic quarterback. He can throw the ball very, very well. He can run the ball very, very well. And if Madison can run, Madison can win. That's where they've always made their money. That's where they've always baked their bread. Lakeside, it's going to be their defense that's going to have to change this game for this one. That one obviously going to be on YSN Live Friday night at 7 o'clock. Edgewood taking on Geneva. 4-1 Edgewood, 4-1 Geneva. I don't know how much more I can hype this game up. This is the biggest game in the county this week. The Edgewood Warriors, the high-flying, high-scoring, flashy, the prime time of Ashtabula County taking on Geneva, the workhorse. Where they're gonna hold the ball for 7-8 minutes at a time, but that's what works for them. It's going to be interesting to see which one of these styles is going to come true. Which one of these is going to come through for the win in this one. This one will also be on ysnlive.com. Mike Alexchuk and Larry Jennings going to be on the call for that one. Conneaut, the 3-2 Conneaut Spartans taking on the 0-5 Jefferson Falcons. Now, Conneaut is riding high. Conneaut has played well. They got a little bit of a stumble last week. Jefferson is looking for the start of their season. Jefferson, for those of you who didn't know, has the 7th hardest schedule in the state of Ohio. The 7th hardest, most difficult schedule in the state of Ohio in all divisions. It has been an absolute gauntlet for them. They are much better than that 0-5 number that they've got. Conneaut's also very, very good. Max Gleason and Wyatt Payne are the real deal as well. This is going to be a big one. Tackling, I think, is what's going to determine this game. St. John, the 2-3 St. John Heralds taking on the 0-5 Matthews Mustangs. Matthews has played some very, very good teams, so that record is not indicative of their ability. But it is at home. It is on Thursday, and I will be on the call for their homecoming game for this one. The Heralds looking to go 500 in this one by getting this, and they're going to need that help because from what I gather and what I was looking on joeidle.com, I don't know that they have the points from that Chalker win count for anything. So it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of works out. Pymatuning Valley, 2-3, taking on the 5-0 Southeast Raiders. another big game here. Pymatuning Valley, they got Croston, they got Vickery, they got Nowakowski. They got those guys on offense. They're going to be able to win ball games. They got Finello on the line and guys like that to block for them. Look out for the Lakers this week to get started. And Grand Valley versus Kirtland, this is no secret. This is the Goliath. Grand Valley, you are coming off the high of the century playing, after winning that home opener against Wycliffe. Use that energy because you're going to need every bit of it. The Kirtland Hornets are determined. I can tell you that. That one loss on Kirtland has really, it's kind of like poke the prod, even though it's to a very good Perry team. So Grand Valley's going to have to play their best football to keep this one a game. And I know they've got they've got the ability to do it. So I'm looking forward. Tyler Hartz and the Grand Valley students will be on this call as well. So once again, folks, all of Ashtabula County football going to be available on YSN Live this week. I'm excited about that. Even Geneva going to be on here. I'm really excited about that one. So that's what we got for today's show. I want to thank the Edgewood offensive line for joining the show, coming on and taking some time out after eating your steaks to join us. And make sure you guys tune in tomorrow as we will have the St. John homecoming game live on ysnlive.com. It's been a great week of football. It's been a great season. And that's, I can't believe we're halfway through, and we're actually over halfway through, except for the teams who are winning state championships. We ain't there yet. So thanks for joining us tonight. For this is Sam Torres, and this is for the 440.
This for the football. This for the football. For the city and the back roads, got a whole county full of them goats. All from the football. Hey, it's just for Beulah County. Yeah, right on your head like a bounty. Said I'm from Beulah, they know I'm from Beulah, so let me just go talk about my surroundings. Shout out them Eagles that's out in Geneva, them Lakers, oh yeah, that's Pymatuning Valley. We from the football chasing these goals. If you in the way, you get taken out proudly. And Jefferson soaring with Falcons. Said that you working, you ain't really working. You see that we working, our hands got a callus. Putting in reps till we moving some mountains. Edgewood got warriors, they won't allow it. Me, I bleed green and gold, they know defeating those dragons who run the whole city. You wildin'. And they really bout it. And next we gon' go to Grand Valley. Work like a horse and don't show no remorse. So opponents keep coming, we stack them and pile them. Yeah, and kinda got flooded with Spartans. As soon as they pull up on game day, we park them. Cause we number one in that spot, ain't a bargain. Man, shout out St. John, they be ballin' like Harden. Switch for the football.